Again, he put me and the children out of the house, asking me and the children, our children, to leave. My husband at the time, once I decided I was leaving the Army, decided that we were going to move back to Atlanta, Georgia, which was his hometown. My ex-husband decided that we would move into his mother's home until our things came and until we got situated to get us our own place. I only wanted to stay with his mom 6 months, no more. He thought that we should be there a year. But either way that goes, it was only 2 months in before my husband threw me and his kids out of the house. He felt as though if I stayed, I was going to cause issues between him and his mom, and he didn't want to be put out the house as well. So he, in return, told me and the children that we should leave. Being the stubborn bull that I am, I decided, you know what? Cool, I will leave. And also asked for a divorce. Me and the children left. Again, he put me and the children out of the house, asking me and the children, our children, to leave so that he would have some place to stay at his mom's house. So with that being said, my father was estranged to me. I did not meet my father till I was 28 years old. 28, okay? So even though this is my father, I reached out to him and told him that me and the children were put out of the house and if it was okay if we came and lived in his home for a period of time until I found somewhere to stay. So we moved in the home with my dad, and it was a very big learning process, y'all. Like I said, this man does not know me. I don't know him. He is meeting his grandchildren for the first time. He does not know his grandchildren. And it was very, very awkward because I was used to living life one way. He was used to living life another way. And I don't even know how to explain it, y'all, but he is my father. That's it, my father. He's not a dad. He's my father. So we lived together for, I'm going to still say maybe 2-3 months until I was blessed to find a condo. Okay. So as I was saying, I met this girl, me and her became friends. Where she lived, there was a condo that had been moved out of in the middle of the night. And the owner needed a tenant. I was being separated from the Army, but I still had income. So I pretty much told the man that I would be able to pay him, you know, the amount of rent that he was asking for. Told him pretty much the situation that I had going on. And he allowed me and the girls to move into his condo. It literally happened that fast, that quick. Now, on the outside, this looks like an amazing thing, which it is. We now have a roof on our head. We now have our own place to stay. I get to move out of my father's house. I get to start over with my children by myself. Okay. Y'all, when I did get the place, that ex-husband of mine did come back around. He did come back around, but I did not allow him to move into the home with me and my children because, there's a lot of things that he did at that time that it just was like, you left me out here in Atlanta, where you're from, where you were born and raised, your place of business, your home. You know everything's going on here. I don't. You left me and the kids here to die, pretty much is how I felt. And with that being said, I decided I was going to do it on my own. So I do go ahead and go through with the divorce. Needless to say, y'all, he had me stay married to him another 2 years before we actually got the divorce. But I did go ahead and go on with the divorce. Okay. So we're in a new place, and I'm just trying to make it, y'all. The thing about that, though, is that this place was a very old place, and my landlord was not really into fixing it. He did not want to fix this place. You know, there was a point where the roof was leaking into the living room. You know, the downstairs, we had a basement downstairs. Randomly, we would go down there sometimes, and there would be sewage all over the floor because the toilet had backed up. Barely even used the third bathroom because we had 3 upstairs. We didn't use the 4th bathroom because we had 3 upstairs. Yes, this is a pretty big place, but like I said, a lot of work needed to be done. I'm not going to say that he was a slumlord, but I mean, that word is flowing around here somewhere. But when it came to him fixing stuff around the house, he didn't want to fix anything. So it got to a point to where it was just becoming unlivable to stay in that condo. So my mom at the time has gotten a job in Boston because she's doing traveling nursing. And she pretty much asked me, do I want to bring the girls out there? Okay. So I ended up just saying bye to Atlanta. I did the years there in Atlanta by myself, struggling, trying to figure it out. It was just always one thing after another. I was living paycheck to paycheck. So I decided to put all of my stuff in storage in Atlanta, uproot me and my children, and go to Boston thinking, okay, we just need a fresh start. So we do that. We leave all our stuff in Atlanta and we decide to go to Boston for this fresh start. But when we get to Boston, have to re-enroll the kids in school out in Boston. We have a complete culture shock because Boston and Atlanta are two totally different worlds, y'all. Just completely different. I didn't have a support system in Atlanta. My mom was in Boston. No one was really helping me out with the children. It just is what it is. And I was having a hard time just making it work. And every year that went by that I was in that city by myself was hell. The trauma behind my husband putting me and the children out, leaving me to pretty much fend for myself, like that trauma, I don't know, something about that city in my head was tied to that trauma, if y'all know what I mean. Like, it was just traumatic. And just being there just reminded me of the trauma every day. And I'm not saying that I did not have any good years there, but like the way that I had to make it work in Atlanta just never sat right with me and my soul. And I just never felt like that was home. So that's why I uprooted and left me and my kids left. And like I said, it wasn't like I had a support system there. It wasn't, So I want my mom to Boston. And my mom is my mom. That is my support system. So at this point, we're living in a suite. We got this roof over our heads. So it's not like, we out in the cold somewhere. I was door dashing. I was Ubering, I was Lyft, I was Instacart. I did all four of those interchangeably with each other to make money. Because I knew that at some point I was going to have to move out into my own place at Boston at some point. So then I just started doing home health care in Boston, where I would just go and take care of people and stuff like that. So that was another source of income. One thing about me is I've never been lazy, and I'm always going to make it happen. Always, because that's just who I am. I was in the army for a reason. I was a soldier then, and I'm a soldier now. So I was going to make it happen one way or the other. And so I was stacking my money up and, at least trying to stack my money up, which I did. And the thing about traveling nursing is it's too close for me as to being in the military, So me being in the military every 2 years, that you're probably going to have to go somewhere else or be deployed or whatever. So in the middle of us staying in one part of Massachusetts, so Braintree, Boston area, the company decides to then send my mama to 45 minutes away. Remind you, my kids are going to school one part, and they sent us 45 minutes out, which means we had to uproot and move again. So we uprooted and moved again, and then my kids would have had to go to school somewhere else. And I was like, no, ma'am, I'm not about to I just took my kids out of school in Atlanta, put them in school here in Boston. And now you want me to take them out of this school. And they had us in the city of Burlington. So go from Boston to Burlington. That's like a 45-minute drive. And so every single day for 6 or so months, I had to wake up and drive my kids 45 minutes to the school, and then stay on that side of town, do all my rides and everything like that to pick them up from school, and then drive them 45 minutes back. And y'all, I did that for a year. I did that for a year because I did not want to take my kids from school again. Like, I didn't want to uproot them and do it all over again. So we did that. And came time for the contract to close. And my mom was getting ready to go to another city. And I was just like, I realized, oh no, like I cannot uproot my kids and move them over and over and over and over again. And my mom was just like, oh, well, I'm gonna always be here to help, blah, blah, blah. I get it, but that does not give my kids any stabilization. This is not stable for 2 little girls. I didn't want my children to constantly be going. Even though my mom was there to help, like she's had her children. I'm a grown woman. My brothers are grown and everything. Hermione! Sorry, y'all, that cat. You know, so she doesn't have any young children anymore. You know, she can just go wherever she want to go when she wants to go, and that's great. But I don't want to do that with my children. I don't want to do that. So, I made the decision to come back to Florida. I am originally from Panama City Beach, out in Florida, and I have one aunt here, and I live in Orange Park, Florida. She lives in Jacksonville, Florida. So she lives about 35 minutes away from me, but we aren't super close. You know, being in the Army, I have been away from my family for years. Like I hadn't lived in my hometown in 13 plus years, and we don't have the best relationship. But my grandma was out in Tallahassee, Florida, and my mom was being sent to another place in Chattahoochee, Florida, this itty bitty spot, girl. We ain't gonna talk about that. Orange Park, Florida put me in the middle. Because I know a lot of people will say, well, what in the world would have made you stop here if you didn't have any family, anything here? Like, again, it's a long story, but I ended up picking this place. It puts me 2 hours from Tallahassee, 4 hours from my hometown, and it puts me about 3.5 hours from where my mama is currently now stationed to do work. And I have an aunt, like I said, that is here. So when we decided to come here, my aunt allowed us to stay in her house for 3 days. That's it. Her and her husband had this thing where nobody is allowed to stay in their house for more than 3 days. So I literally had to find me and the girls a place to stay in 3 days. And that was almost impossible. Found us a place. We did find a place to stay in 3 days. And when we got to that place, it was infested with roaches. Obviously, when you go and look at a place in the daytime, it's like everything is good. You think the neighborhood is good. You don't see any bugs, any creepy crawlies, none of that stuff. So, you know, but the first night in that place, y'all, roaches everywhere. I must have killed 15 roaches. It was disgusting. It stressed me out so bad. It was just terrible. It was just terrible. But that is where I ended up staying because I was in such a hurry to find a place, and I should have waited longer, you know. But y'all got to remember that the money that you're using this money. I didn't even speak about the fact that we drove from Boston. It took us 3 days because I'm driving with children to get to Florida from Boston. So I spent a lot of money stopping over at this hotel, to then coming here. And now my aunt is only allowing us 3 days in her home. And then when we left her home, we had to move into another hotel and try to find a place from there. And then when I chose the place, I did not realize until the first night, y'all, that it was infested with roaches. There was a hurricane that hit here, so we ended up having to leave our last apartment, and so we ended up having to leave that roach infested apartment anyways, and FEMA ended up giving me and the girls a place to stay. So here we are now. We've left the apartment. We're staying in hotels at FEMA. I think we're in a FEMA hotel for like, I think 3 or 4 months. And the girls, and then also y'all, we could not find any FEMA hotels in the area that we lived where the girls are going to school. So we ended up having to find a FEMA hotel way out on Atlantic Beach, which was another 45 minutes from Orange Park, which is where our current apartment was. So I am trying to get the girls back and forth to school. And I lost my car and stuff like that. So I am about ready to give up. With that being said, I ended up finding this place called Changing Homelessness, and they help veterans find a place to live and have a home and stuff like that. So I ended up, you know, while I'm living in the FEMA hotels and different hotels changing, I knew that my FEMA contract was fin to run out, and I wasn't going to have anywhere to go. So Changing Homelessness then puts me and the girls in another hotel, but this hotel is now closer to the school that the girls are going to. So we ended up staying in that hotel for the remainder of our time, not having a home. And there was a bus stop by the hotel, thank God, and the girls were able to go to and from school from the hotel. Changing Homelessness, you know, lets me know that you can look for a place, or we have places that we already know about that will take, you know, a homeless veteran, especially one with children. And that happens to be the place that you see us in now. So I'm so freaking grateful for that. And At the time, I decided to showcase my journey on my TikTok, you know, from homeless to home. And it did very, very, very well. So many people were rooting for us. We did an Amazon wish list, and almost everything in this, a lot of things in this house came from them. A lot of things in this house came from them, giving credit to where credit's due. And then when I was working, because while I was homeless, I did go to CNA school as well as becoming a medical tech. I ended up getting 2 certifications because Lord knows that I was not going to go through what I just went through again. And I was trying to find any certification so I could work in the medical field is where it's at, y'all. At the end of the day, you going to always have a job if you're in the medical field. My mama taught me that, believe that. So I used that time staying from hotel to hotel to hotel to get certifications, to get licenses, so that I could take care of me and my children and never have to be in the situation like that ever again. And that brings us here. And as I said on my TikTok, if you guys want to go see the videos that y'all would have originally seen as shorts on this channel, were just coming from when I showcased over on TikTok. And I decided, no, I'm gonna show the real and raw over here on this side of us moving around, navigating life. So if you guys want to see the journey, you could definitely go to my TikTok, but you don't have to. You can stay here. It is what it is. But yeah, so that is how we ended up here. And it has been a long time coming, you know, for stability and just giving my daughters the lives that I think that they deserve, you know. But I've been through hell. I'm just gonna be honest. I've been through hell, but I'm still standing, okay? And that's why Monica's Still Standing is like one of my favorite songs. Girl, I'm still standing. So that is that. That is how we end up here. And now it's just our journey navigating through that. With that being said, girl, I do have to get ready for work. It's 9:24. I gotta be working 30 minutes. Thank God that my client, I am a home health care certified nursing assistant. So I'm about to go back to go to my client's home and take care of her and do what we need to do. And that is the end of this video. And I really hope that you guys enjoyed the video and got something out of it. At the end of the day, never give up. That's what it's about. Just never give up and just keep pushing. And I hope you guys stay on this journey with me and my beautiful daughters, and y'all just see where it all goes from here. And I'll see y'all in my next video.